All right, hello and welcome. I decided I'd start off by trying nightbot that everyone's dealing with, and I can see nightbot's already causing some trouble. So we could be in for some fun. So I apologize in advance what the nightbot does. I'm just going to have to find out where it all is again. Where are we? I hope that everybody is well. Just going to pull this in again because I went through and I think I gave it 10 emojis. So where is it again? So I apologize already, everybody. So I can switch it off already. Wowzers. That's a bit scary. Me more. I'm sorry. I'm going to fix this up. So how is everybody? Sorry, me more. As I said, I've decided I'd try a nightbot, and I thought I'd put 10 icons, and obviously it's going to take me a while to get this worked out. Options. I'm gonna make it. It says limit. This is the minimum number of emojis posted before nightbot will publish. I will make it, me more. I've made it 23. All right, I've made it 23. We're just going to see how this happens and works. I know you do like your emojis, and I did. I had it at 5, and then I forgot. So I apologize. That's my fault. But I just really wanted to see how this works. I know other people have used it, and it works really well for them. So anyway, we'll see how we go. So how are we all going? I hope you're having. I hope you've had a good night's sleep. For those of you on the other side of the world, it's been an interesting day. My channel has blown up, which is unbelievable. So I'm still a bit shocked by that. Hello, Christoph Van Always. So we'll see what happens. So the two, as I said, I've put 15 as the as the limit. So we should be all right now. I tried to go through Twitter. It doesn't like me. Yeah, because I'm also streaming on Twitter. I thought I'm also streaming on Twitter. I'm also going to set it up so it will stream on Facebook, so I can hit as many people as I can. Hello, Sarah Loves Donuts and Peter. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been somewhat a busy day because I did 2 videos today, which were not planned ones either. And as I said, the channel's just blown up today. When did we start? About 5 minutes ago. I haven't even really got that far in yet. Me More Dragon. I'm trying out Nightbot, and Me More Dragon had only been in for 2 seconds, and she got timed out. I've only got them for 10. I think I've only got them for 5-10 second timeouts anyway. So as I said, I fixed that up. I think I fixed it up. I hope. So the first one is the violin. Christoph Van Always, which is this crying violin with music notes, and the other one is the map that says Russia isn't China. So because I said that I would get some emojis, and Osbel designed a violin. I'll show it to you. Osbel designed a beautiful violin that has lips on it for our crying violin. So let me just pull this up for you, which I thought was really quite amazing. So this is the big version. Yeah, the other one is Russia Isn't China, but again, I'll put I've got to get the big version. So this is the big violin. See? But it wouldn't let me put it on as a big one. I could only put it as a small one. So, but that's our violin. So that's your crying violin. So that's what that is. So that you know. That's from the talented Osbell. Yeah. So there's our violin. Because it was going to be violin emojis and side eye, and Osbell sort of put them in the whole thing. So I might put that into the community tab so that you can grab that if you like. I've got to put Russia isn't China there as well. Hello, Ginger Lee. How are you? So I haven't put in a list of banned words yet. So as I said, I'm just seeing if Nightbot's going to work. Yeah, Osbell's very talented. After every single live that we've had, she's been sending me a picture. So she did the lady in the teacup, and then she did Harrison's one, and she's done the sock puppet. So it's been really cool. So, yeah. So this is something that I thought was really, really interesting. So I've been following Myanmar, and I'm really disappointed that the world hasn't got onto Myanmar, because Myanmar needs help. So this is Myanmar's. So she was the president or the prime minister of Myanmar. She was the ousted leader. When on trial, appearing unwell, her lawyer says she faces a slew of charges since being overthrown by the army. So remember, the army has taken over the government because she was elected. 75, and in the February 1 coup that cut short a decade of tentative democratic reforms and has plunged the Southeast Asian country into chaos. She faces 3 cases on Monday, 2 linked with the possession of radios and 1 for breaching coronavirus regulations. Then as the trial goes on, she also faces charges of incitement and charges of violating the Official Secrets Act. And the Human Rights Watch said the allegations being heard against her are bogus and politically motivated. So this is her when she was the leader. So the trial is clearly an opening salvo in the overall strategy to neuter Suu Kyi and the National League for Democratic Party as a force that can challenge military rule in the future. We want her and all the senior members of the administration to be freed. The Secretary General has called for a call of reversal and the restoration of legitimate government in Myanmar. So she faced the first charge of just a few days after the coup, and she was not allowed her face-to-face meeting with her lawyers. Since then, she's had a brief lawyer. She's not seen her lawyers, so she's not even getting she's not even getting justice or a fair trial. She can't meet with her lawyers. So a photo of her May 24 appearance released by State Media showed her sitting straight backed in a small courtroom wearing a pink face mask and her hands folded in her lap. This is what a lot of the protests are all about, because it's under military reign at the moment, and they want the person that they elected to be ruling. So I'm just really concerned. Well, I'm just really annoyed that the world seems to be very silent on Myanmar. Other than to say we want to have proper government there, but what else can you do? So it says that she was charged with illegally importing walkie-talkies for her bodyguard's use, unlicensed use of radios, and spreading information that could cause public harm or unrest, as well as 2 counts of violating the Natural Disaster Management Law for allegedly breaking pandemic restrictions during her election campaign. So this is what this is about. But she got voted in, and then the military came in and took over. So the former president, Win Myint, also faces charges as well. So it looks like most of the, and it says Police Major Myint Nying took the stand against him and Misuki. Major Police Kai Ling then testified in the case of the radios. Monday's hearings lasted more than 5 hours. So all the political past presidents at the moment are all on trial, and I don't know what the outcome is going to be. But this is why the people are protesting in Myanmar. You pronounced it wrong. In my head, I love to think the word correctly. Look, some people say Myanmar. Some people say Myanmar. I don't really know. I really... because it was Burma, which was easy to say at one point in time. Yeah. So, yeah. So let's look at... Now, I have to tell you, there is no Instagram Lives because... Let me just tell you something. Let me just show you something. It's one of those words you can say in your head and not out loud. So this is what was posted on Twitter today. When I share that I'm being stalked, the channels that my stalker work with make videos that I'm playing the victim. Oh, I don't know. That's not it. Where was it? Is it this one? She mentions, hello, Javenin. Myanmar was a democratic country. It's now had a military coup, and the military is... Oh, there's a few people in here. Hello, Javin and Stefan, and yeah, hello. I've got lots of new subs. They are now being ruled by the military at the moment. So I know there's no recliner rants because where is it? I need to just find it. So welcome to all my new subs joining me on this live. I'll apologize in advance if Nightbot does something. I'm just trialing Nightbot, and I'm hoping that Nightbot will be okay. Where are we? All right, I'll have to pull it up from somewhere else then, because you'll like it. It's not here. I can't find it. Did she delete it? Yes, they're under military rule at the moment. All right, let me go and pull this. This was here, but I can't find it now. It must have been deleted, which I'm not happy about. But thank you. Oh, who knew that a story on a possible crooked politician would get heaps of views? Hey. Oh, we shouldn't say alleged. Yeah, who would have known that New South Wales under military rule? They're under police power. Not yet. I can talk about the video. I'm happy to talk about the video. It's funny. I've got two lots of groups now. I've got a group for Friendlyjordies and I've got a group for Katie Joy. So I'm going to try and help everybody with their little group. And then I've got a group that just wants to chat. So I think we might watch the bruz. We might actually watch the video tonight that got that started it all. You mean, yeah, because so this is what she posted. You like both? Oh, that's good. She says, all of these channels make videos nonstop. They steal my Instagram lives, so I'm not going to do them for a bit. They send me emails to bait me. I'm not allowed to even feel sad. They are heartless. So apparently I steal her lives, but I don't actually. I record them because she doesn't save them, and I keep them for her. That's my defense, and I'm sticking to it. If you wanna ballistic flights here in my laugh, yeah. The other thing that happened today was in the Josh Dogger case. The alleged video that allegedly started, allegedly everything don't get sued, include the word allegedly every few words. Thank you, Nomad. Yes, we do have, I do have, one of my moderators is actually a lawyer, and so she will message me if I'm going to get myself to give me a warning. I thought she asked creators to reach out for an interview. Are you safe? Yeah, well, that's how I would explain it to her. So this is a protector. So can't see it. So for the new subs, I start my stream about 9 o'clock Eastern Victorian time, because I'm in Victoria, between 8:30 and 9. And so a lot of my watchers, the people, are from the US, so they're all getting up. So this is a protective service order. So what they've done is they're actually going to close the court. It says prepared. So I don't have the full thing. This is just so it says, she says, I'll be going over the full court order in a video today. The judge issued a protective order to protect the identities of child victims and government defence witnesses. Well, that's standard when you're dealing with child offences. There's nothing new there. It says, due to the nature of the case, the public will be given no access to any of the evidence. And that relates to minor children and witnesses will also be protected given the severity of the crimes and the public nature of Josh Duggar. And she says, I'm happy to see this order. Witness, it's standard procedure. The other thing is that the lawyers are also prohibited from talking about the evidence or the witnesses to other parties. So again, which is probably a little bit unusual. So, and this was, then she put here, the court ordered a protective order against Josh Duggar and his legal team regarding the child victims and witnesses in the case. Josh and his counsel are barred from sharing details about the victims and witnesses with everyone, including his family. Sorry, Jim Bob, you've got to sit this one out. But it also means that she can't get access and her sources won't be able to get access either. So, yeah. So that's that. I mean, Twitter was a bit crazy. Still talking about stalkers and about it all being about her. Well, at least she can't dox them. So if there's a couple of videos that I did on a defamation case in Australia between Christian Porter, who's currently the Science and Innovation Minister, and the ABC. And the ABC pleaded the truth defence, and it related to allegations of an assault, SA or R, that happened when he was a minor, and the victim was a minor as well. So therefore, all of that evidence was actually redacted in the defence. There was actually a whole defence filed by the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. Hello, Dave. Welcome. Well, they should do that. So they redacted it, and so every time in the case, they would refer to it. The court would get cleared. All the lawyers would go out in the court. Only the two senior counsels, the judge, and I think the person taking the minutes or the notes, the transcriptionist, knew the full extent of what was going on. And so now that he's mediated and the case has been settled, and he's now been ordered to pay for the other party's fees, which he tried to fight, he wants a permanent suppression order on that information. And all the other media, the ABC, have said we don't really care. But all the other media outlets have said we want to know what's in that defence. And so on the 5th of July, they're arguing that. But there is a lot of redacted stuff. And so it's not unusual for courts to be cleared, and they talk about it. So what they did with this case was they talked around the issue. They did everything around the matters relating to the redacted part, and then they cleared the court, and then they did the whole redacted part. Even when the judge did his findings, he did a redacted version, a version for the public, and then the version for the private. She's saying it because of his family, but I'm also sure both sides have requested this together. Well, that is true, but it is. I mean, I know it's normal in Australia, and I did. It would be, it would be standard, particularly when you deal with minors. So, yeah. There's also some. So that's what's happened there. And that the Duggar case is on the 5th. I thought, well, generally sometimes they are, but see, we're talking about an adult and we're talking about juveniles. Juveniles are the victims, so they need to protect the witnesses. Even in the case of Ben Roberts, which I've also done some videos on, which is a defamation case, all of his witnesses and all of that information is suppressed, and there are days where the court is closed for that evidence to be given, and then it's opened again. So it's not unusual for it to happen. But I just don't know that she realises that she won't be able to get anything either. I'm just saying. So, yeah. We're going to pull up. I am, so because she's not doing lives, there's not a lot of videos to look at. But what we might do, yes, my reminder will come up I've set it for 15 minutes. It's normal, but I wouldn't have thought they would have used names from the kids in the stuff they had. So, well, I don't know. Totally clueless. Based on years of allegations, clearly no one was off limits. But see, he was a juvenile when with his sister's involvements. I believe he was an adult for this stuff. And his juvenile record has been widely reported, so this could be to suppress that stuff as well. that might be to suppress all of that stuff, that all of that stuff's off limits. Okay. I have noticed that Friendlyjordies, he's so this is, I'm going to show you this. This is a news story from yesterday. This is Channel 10, which I'm a bit surprised. All right. So this was yesterday. So this is what all my videos have been on. So let's have a look at this. See I want to get your opinion, particularly for those of you that are not Australian.
A producer for YouTube commentator Friendlyjordies has been arrested, accused of stalking and intimidating Deputy Premier John Barilaro. Christo Lanker was arrested by the Fixated Persons Unit at his home on June 4. Barilaro's government colleagues said they were unaware of the incident.
Obviously, I have complete faith that the police will do their job in relation to that matter without being across what those details are.
No, that's what I think. No mention of corruption. No, they don't. They won't stay away from that. They'll stay away from that.
Lawyers for Lanker described the arrest as highly alarming and dispute the police version of events. This footage, according to those lawyers, is of the arrest in question. So that was that one. What is really interesting, I have to say, I called them goons. That was Channel 10, but there is no mention of the corruption. So if you haven't kept up with the story, YouTuber Friendlyjordies is being sued for defamation by the Deputy Premier of New South Wales. I was going to call him Bruz because that's what he's called. I sort of talked about this a little bit yesterday, and so his producer got arrested yesterday and apparently twice he's been seen in public and has spoken to the Deputy Premier, but it's coming down to an abusive process, the abuse of power. And an MP today has called for a police investigation. And I liked what she said. Let me pull it up because it was really, really funny. And for you Aussies, you might, because I saw the name Xenophon and I thought, oh, that's unusual. It's Nick Xenophon's firm, and he was actually a politician. This is her press conference, and there was something in there. Hello, Jessica. There was something in here that I really loved. And I mean, you want to talk about sass. If you want to talk about sass, there's a line in here. She goes, the implications for free speech and civil liberties are extremely disturbing. A special unit established to tackle extremists should not be arresting a YouTube comedian. I've met Christo several times. He's one of the least intimidating people you could meet. Having seen the footage of the arrest and the alleged incidents leading to the arrest, I believe this whole saga must be investigated by the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission. I just love this. He's one of the least intimidating people you could meet. How's that for having it given to you? You know, like, and if you saw the picture of I call him the goon. He had no. He's the one the goon was the scary one. So let's watch. So I showed you the one where he broke the arm, like had the fake hand. All right, let's look at. Oh, that's 44 minutes. I don't really. Is it this one? All right.
think we have to. I think we have to watch it. You need to see what he's done. So this is what he's got in trouble for. And so let's go for the court of public opinion. Let's see whether we think that this is what this is. Okay, so this is Friendlyjordies. I can't find the article. All right, so this is, so you tell me what you think, if you think that this is defamation. So one of the things he is, so he's a comedian, he does political stuff. So it says, Friendlyjordies has been routinely exposing the corruption and misdeeds of the New South Wales coalition government, naturally mocking the Premier and Deputy Premier in the process. So not mocking. So we already know that it's satire. All right. Barilaro condemned Jordan's use of the word bruz. Oh, and there is language in here. Barilaro condemned Jordan's use of the word bruz with an Italian accent as deeply offensive and racist, and thus a new nickname was born for the proud Italian. So his nickname is Bruz, okay? So this is one of the videos that he's saying is defamatory. Super Barilaro Bruz is his nickname now. Super Barilaro Bruz.
Celebrating French writer de Balzac once said that behind every great fortune lies a great crime. I didn't know he said that. I just remember Chris Rock misquoting it once. The point is, it's very easy to look at plutocrats like Gina Reinhardt, Rupert Murdoch, Max Mofo, who's clearly gotten away with public mutilation, and come to that conclusion. But asterisk, behind fairly impressive fortunes, like many dumb little annoying crimes perpetrated by dumb little annoying people.
I have to say, he comes across as being very intelligent. Very intelligent. He could use some better pics. All right.
AKA the Italian stallion, Shetland pony rather, Giovanni Dominic Barilaro. Now you might be thinking, oh no, he's in a bath naked. Can't you make something that isn't crude so I can show my mum? Huh? Don't you worry. We're not here to talk about my big fat wad cock. We're here to talk about another big fat wad cock.
Oops. I told you it's sweary. Bruz. They are pretentious, aren't they, Peter?
Now that we're comfortable, John Barilaro is a man whose expediency seeps right down to his very genetics, as not only do his political convictions turn on a dime.
No, political chamber, in their house, where they talk in the where they do all their debating and political stuff. We call it the chamber.
So does his ethnicity. Proud Italian when he thinks he can score pity points. Rinky-dink Johnny from the bush when he thinks he can score a national seat. Willing to change his entire identity, right down to his name. Surely distressing his inner child who would wonder,
Hey, Giovanni, what's the matter? You're not talking with your accent no more.
Bruzza mia! He's a con man to the core, powered by spaghetti. As such, I'll be referring to him from now on as Giovanni. And not just because that's his name, but also because he's just such a Giovanni. Plus, it pisses him off. And
Most of them sound like they're sprouting off on the chamber, though. They do, don't they?
I really like the thought of that man being upset. Oh, what the f***? Another video? Bruz, as if the joke isn't old already.
No, wait, I've got new material for you. You ready? Your response to the Berejiklian bushfires. Giovanni's actions during the bushfires were like all his other actions in life. Stupid as fuck. And very funny. Like the rest of us, he didn't know exactly what to do, but knew that the first step was to get mad at the people who had been attempting to warn him about the fires for the last decade.
Oh, but Bruz, I'm a visual learner. They should have turned what was going to happen into a movie. Then I would have paid attention.
So Barilaro is saying that the fact that he's been taught the Italian accent is defamatory.
Named the national parks. One of the men most responsible on Earth for the Black Summer bushfires, blaming the people least responsible for it, claiming that they were ideologically opposed to hazard reduction burns.
Ideologically don't like the concept of hazard reduction, but we give them the responsibility.
No, you ball of grease. The reason they're not doing hazard reduction burns is because you cut their funding by 27%. They've been begging, specifically Fat Lips here, for the funds so that they could do the hazard reduction burn.
Of all the names he gets called, he objects to bruz and the Italian accent. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Bruz has to prove to a court that he doesn't talk like that when he very much does. Does he? I've actually, as I said, I've not heard him talk. So he has an Italian accent? I don't know. I've actually never heard him talk because he's not my local politician. So I might have to find something. With his voice on it so we can compare it.
But you cut the number of rangers by 100. And you cut the number of people who make the plans for hazard reduction burns from 36 under Labor to 10 under the Coalition. Bruz, you're into cooking.
Today I'm going to do something simple. A veal scallopino.
Force he eats veal. Yeah, it's tasty. What you did to the National Parks and Wildlife Service is like not adding water to minestrone and saying,
This minestrone is ideologically opposed to being a soup.
I mean,
for me, watching this, hi Gail. To me, this is just political satire. Hello, Gail.
it's obvious when you look at Giovanni's decisions and comments that he's a moron. But I at least thought he'd be smart enough to come up with an excuse that is a little better than.
Bruz, it's not the government's fault. It's the, government's fault. You're in charge of the national parks, you idiot.
Anyway, look at this.
Trust me, it'll be funny later.
John, like the rest of us, remembers the bushfires as a time of great anguish, as he was forced to take time out of his London holiday to moralise to all the city slickers in Sydney. Don't worry though, he didn't bother coming home to do it. He still continued on with his holiday to say,
You city slickers in Madrid don't understand the struggle of us fed-income bush battlers like myself.
I only found out about this evening. I'm furious, says, Emily. Hello, Emily. Welcome. The thing is, he also shows the receipts and everything, even though he makes it satire, he does he does have some fun with it. So, it's not a problem, Emily. I actually was pretty annoyed about it too. I was really surprised. So anyway.
oh, interesting. Where are you?
Big Ben Stitch! Boom!
Claiming that he's battling for the bush. What part of sitting on your fat, worthless ass in merry old England while the bush was burning, blaming the people who were putting out those fires that you practically lit, screams back
battling for the bush to you. Because, bros, I make the battles and then I fight them. Understand? Looks like the Julia...
In this political climate, intolerant of focusing on cultural differences seem to be manipulative in the bruz part, maybe. Yeah, it could be. What the nightbot says. Yes, I'm trialing nightbot, so I apologise if you accidentally get timed out, but I'm just hoping nightbot behaves. Reminds me of apology Trump blaming Californians for forest fires happened to me. Yeah. But see, he has all the receipts to show. Yeah, nightbot. So hopefully nightbot's gonna anyone that jumps in and spamming and everything and stuff. I've got to set not fully stuff.
The Accordions weren't wiped out after all, were they? It's just they got so inbred that the only musical instrument they can play is that big horn at Canberra Raiders matches. If you're battling for the bush, John, then I'm protecting the moon from having an atmosphere. And every night it looks down and thanks just me. I'd read him a bedtime for two if he wasn't so far away. Anyway, let's look at water theft. Giovanni promised Royal Commission in...
Mima got she got timed out for using too many emojis. First minute in. So I apologise. I fixed it. I think you can have 13 now emojis. There's also new emojis in there as well. Oh, thank you, Cass. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Then when it came to crunch time, voted against it. There's only one possible explanation for that. He switched heads with Jennifer Coolidge and no one noticed. Seriously, though, I think he's corrupt. Shooters and Fishers legend Helen Dalton asked why he's so blatant.
So this Helen Dalton has come out now and called for an inquiry into the arrest of the producer, or his producer. Growing up as a child of an immigrant, I don't find this a satire is the lowest form of which. Surely we are past this regardless of... This guy's a jerk, particularly since all Australians are immigrants from the original... True. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that, Cass, but the thing I am disagreeing with is the fact that the producer got arrested and the way it was done. I'm actually not really a fan of Friendlyjordies. I'm going to put that on the record, but I can see that it is. I do see some of it as being funny. But I do think that he does go a little bit too far at times. So that's where I stand on it. But I want you to see that this is one of the videos that he's been sued for. I want to get your impressions. And then I want to show you the full arrest video or the video. And so you can make your decision up about that. So.
Instantly broke his promise. All he had to do was vote yes. Man of discipline, Giovanni, responded with, this is true. This is the actual message he sent. Helen, you are disgusting human. I told you he was a dumb It looks like a caveman wrote that tweet. Helen, you are disgusting human. He calls himself Pork Barillaro. He wears his corruption as a badge of honour.
What's interesting is if you look at the defamation, it wasn't the fact that he was he's not upset about the fact he was called corrupt necessarily. He's actually upset at the fact that he's called bruz and the guy speaks an Italian accent. Hello, Dang Dang.
You got to admit. Well, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to appreciate that set of photos. I'm not making this up. He was the spaghetti-eating champion for 25 years. And yet he gets offended when I point out he's Italian.
Oops. Where are we? It's coming up. The arrest video looks like something from cops and not handled well, but it does not invalidate his comments. No, I'm not saying that his comments are I think it's about the arrest that I think is the issue. If he makes a case about the corruption, then that opens the corruption up to discovery. Well, that's true. Yes, because the nickname is defamation. Well, the other issue, the other thing is, and what he could argue is that he was it's political satire, so it's not supposed to be taken seriously. I'm just throwing things out there. I'd love to know the legal strategy for the choice of issues named in the. Yeah. I'm trying to. They haven't made the documents public. Sarah loves donuts, and I actually have to apply to the court to get them. I'm going to try and do that, but I've reached out to both sides to see if I can get a copy of to save me all the trouble. But I may have to go to the court. But it's not like the US where you can just go on the website and pull any records. If they're not a public interest case, which I thought this might have been, you then have to apply for them. So I'll have to do that.
Mario level boss. Ladies and gentlemen of New South Wales, I present to you your Deputy Premier. That's tasty. Making it success story. Obviously, he's trying to spin his pork barreling as John Barilaro, a.k.a. Greasy Ned Kelly, stealing from the rich and giving to the battlers of the bush so the battlers of the bush can have what they desire most. Fish and chips shops. Do you have calamari? What's capitani? I eat pork barrels, all right. Pork's harder than your pork gets looking at Judith McGrath from All Saints. Now that's hard. In case you're wondering what pork barreling is, it's simply giving government money to seats that don't need it. And the problem with Giovanni is he only gives it to his friends. So, yeah. The arrest was ridiculous, yeah. Yay for legal commentator. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, Gail. That's why when I found out that it was a YouTuber being sued, I went, I've got to find out more than that. He would task the tactical to a person for a parking fine. The arrest seemed to be over the top. Meanwhile, terrorise a family trying to get medical help for their child. I present our Australian government. Correct. Yes. Calling him a boss is compliment what is Bruz's problem. So, all right. Not even to electorates. For example, he announced a government fund called the Go Equity Fund.
And what the interesting thing is, for a lot of the stuff other than there is a lot of receipts, a lot of proof articles that he uses to back up a lot of the points that he makes. If it was me, sued by a deputy premier, no loss. To me, he will argue that he's a political satirist commentator, and that as part of being a politician, he should expect to have jokes made about him. I think whether that's what I think. However, it will be down to the judge at the end of the day or the proof. But I'd be using the truth defense, and I would somehow get in there the corruption, because then it brings it to the table and it's on court file. but I'm not a lawyer. I've just, I'm a wannabe. I'm a law wannabe. However, the way the media, the way the ABC has, and the media has been dealing with their latest defamation cases is truth. So did this not mean anything from Christian Porter's case, which may have been stronger than his? I don't think so. And that's the thing. The Christian Porter case was, and this is my opinion, Christian Porter settled his case simply because, Christian Porter settled his case simply because of the truth defense of the ABC, which nobody knows what it is. But there is something in that defense that has scared the living daylights out of him from getting out. If you look at the Ben Roberts-Smith defense that the media put together, in their defense, they were alleging specific war crimes and named all the witnesses, which have all got protection orders on them. So the media usually goes in and goes truth, and then they go in hard. So that, yeah, the Ben Roberts-Smith case I've been following, the Christian Porter case I followed, that's what they've done. And they've gone in hard and they've brought everything to the table. And I know Ben Roberts-Smith is currently in the witness box. I think he's on to his third day. And that is, a lot of that is behind closed doors because it's about, in a closed court, because it's about war crimes and it's about, and names are suppressed and everything. So, you know, yeah. Given everything Jordan says in the Bruz video is backed up with an article, he's saying, I'm not sure how it can be defamation when it's backed up by the articles. That was dang, that was my thought as well. Considering that he's got articles to back up everything he says. Where he'll get, where there is the question is the Italian and the accent stuff. That would be, but I don't, yeah, as I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. However, I do think that the truth defense and putting it all on the table will scare him. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if all of his proof of corruption is filed into a court document and Barilaro has to prove that it's not true? How does he do it? In Australia at the moment, it's sue if you don't want to be held to account. And that's the thing. Someone's calling out the politicians and they're suing. Like, it's not Australian. We don't sue, generally. So anyway. But yes, this is the second defamation case we've followed in the short amount of time involving YouTubers. So
aimed at investing in small businesses in the bush. And to help him decide where to invest, he got a private equity fund called ROC Partners to help pitch in. Always a good start when a politician privatises even their ability to make decisions. What confidence the people of Monero must have in their member when even he thinks the free market can do a better job than
he might do too. Bruz would get eaten alive by American comedians. Gladys, I don't know Barajiglian. Actually, I was going to do a video tomorrow. I know we are. And jurisdiction, yes. Well, Ivan, I'm not a New South Wales taxpayer, but if I lived in New South Wales, I'd be very, very, very upset if my tax dollars was spent on that. You know, and I was thinking, we've been told all along that New South Wales is the gold standard. New South Wales is the gold standard. Well, I'm looking at it now. Thank you, Queen H. If this is the gold standard, then I'm happy to have Dopey Dan. They've taken a page out of the American Politician's Handbook. So yes, this is Eden Montero. You're a New South Wales taxpayer? Yeah, I'd be very upset. Is that to say we do speak freely in New South Wales? I don't know. Oh, you don't? That's to say we don't speak freely in New South Wales. Topi Dan, you certainly don't want our Premier. Well, it's interesting because Western Australia and Victoria allegedly have the two most popular premiers. So there you go. But I'll stick with Dopey Dan rather than the gold standard. So that is true. Someone needs to come out of the community. Well, actually, I'm actually wondering whether I should DM Katie Joy and give her Bruz's number. Maybe she can advise him for how to deal with defamation. You should get a job on 60 Minutes Australia. You love that program? I actually don't watch it. I don't watch a lot of TV. Katie Joy would be a great political spin doctor for a politician. Let us tell you about Dominions and his cow Twitter. No, I don't, Dang Dang. I don't work in the court in Melbourne South. No. No, I don't. I'm not. I don't work in law at all. I'm just interested in it. I'm looking at studying next year. I'm looking at doing law next year. Maybe. I might chicken out yet. Do not do. She did say that her DMs were open. All right, so let's get back to this. But no, I do like to talk about, controversial things, and this is why I think I'm interested in this case. Maybe it was my evil twin Dang Dang. No, because he will ignore her next month. It will be Australian politicians who are stalking her. Well, there's a jurisdiction issue on that. Oh, you're voting for law school, are you, Sarah?
And him, but still wants our checks to not do it. Have a look at who ROC and Giovanni, wink, decided to invest in. Australia's Oyster Coast. I wonder what they produce. Coasts? Nope, oysters. Oh, sorry, boys. Now, why would Barilaro and ROC decide to invest $3.3 million into a company that loses money when there are perfectly good smaller oyster farms running at a profit? Could it have anything to do with the fact that Australia's Oyster Coast is chaired by David Trebek, ex-director of the Liberal Party's policy unit and member of HR Nichols Society? A think tank created by Peter Costello. Surely a man who looks like a mafia don wouldn't knowingly hand out millions of taxpayer dollars to a failing oyster farm just because his mate ran it. Gifting that enterprise taxpayer money would be shameless.
Streaming. Oh, yeah, streaming in the hot tub. So, yeah.
Almost as shameless as me asking you to like this video, which to put a new twist on an old classic. Come on, I'm liking it. Just to be sure, though, New South Wales Parliament asked him over and over, did you give tax money to Australia's Oyster Coast because your friend ran it? To which he repeatedly said, it wasn't me! I didn't have shit to do with it! Or words to that effect. 9 times over. Under oath. I think you can see where this is going. Labor got the documents. Would you look at that? Barilaro personally signed off on the deal.
So he's got all the documents and it would seem that this is why he's been targeted. Hope Christo and his family's okay. It would have been a bit of a shock. It was very heavy-handed. And there's lots of questions to answer with that. Yeah. See, Katie Joy didn't go live because apparently we keep stealing her lives. And so instead we're dealing with Barilaro and Bruz.
Wales Labor then said, maybe you should step down for at least being,
Sloppier than me.
You know what he said?
But, sir, it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it, bruz.
And that was that. Not only did he use the public's money to prop up a friend's failing business, he perjured himself 9 times over. You usually go to jail for committing perjury once. Let that sink in, and then do what your mum does when she hears something that she doesn't like on the news, which is, ow. Then get ready for...
Yeah, she's having a few days off Instagram lives, Gail. Windlespers says, I think he knew what he was up against and was willing to take forward. Well, I actually wonder, because I've watched some of his other videos and he's very intelligent, and I think he knew what was going to do this. And it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't go this far so that this would happen, because now it's got the media, it's getting media attention. However, everybody's ignoring the corruption issue. They're all talking about the defamation and the arrest. But it's the corruption, I think, that is the most horrifying.
The second whammy that makes your mum say, oh, no, that's horrible. Because also $3.3 million was given to a beef company that just 10 months earlier ROC partners bought a majority stake in. Ha. Do you get it? No? Okay, let me make this as simple as possible. ROC partners advised that the New South Wales government give your money to ROC partners. When Labor found out about this, they tried to force Giovanni to refer the deals to an independent pricing and regulatory tribunal that would obviously find what you would assume on hearing that is blatant corruption. Wouldn't you guess? Giovanni said what he says whenever someone makes a plausible accusation of corruption perpetrated by him. Oof. Anyway, Labor introduced an order to call for Giovanni's Go Equity documents to be released. Libs unsurprisingly voted not to show those documents. It only passed because of the crossbench, meaning basically only the New South Wales government voted against the New South Wales government being properly scrutinised. Another time, Mr. Barilaro awarded this man called
do they not realise the harm they do when they support one seafood industry over the other? My cousin is directly affected by his investments in oyster. Wow, Peter, I don't think they care. It's all about the money.
Andrew Stoner. Oh, bruz. Stoner. Do you think he is one? See for yourself, bro. Definitely a real photo. He was given 98 grand of your money for cutting grass. Didn't know it cost that much. And I wonder what makes Andrew Stoner so special. Maybe it's that Andrew Stoner is the former leader of the Nationals, and Super Barilaro Bruz owes his entire political career to Andrew Stoner. So just remember, when Giovanni proudly touts the nickname Pork Barilaro, he's not pork barreling for you. Unless your name is Andrew Stoner, in which case you're probably watching this saying, mate, you just said he is, idiot. Sometimes he throws his constituency a bone. Barilaro and New South Wales Arts Minister Don Harwin. Jeez, I wonder what he does in a day. Anyone could make that. Sucks. They had a $47 million arts grant program to dole out. Conveniently, as always, just before an election. Guess how much of that $47 million went to coalition seats? $44 million.
So this is really, I've seen this, but this was really shocking when I first saw this video.
Jesus. Who says the coalition doesn't support the arts, eh? Guess how much went to Labor seats? $4,000. 4,000 out of 47 million. Surely if this was Iraq, even the Kurds would have gotten a bigger slice. Labor got 0.0085% of the money. Out of every $11,750 allocated, Labor seats got $1. The Nationals actually think the point of being in government is to rort funds, don't they? This is just prototype sports frauds. Instead of wearing helmets, they're wearing berets. On the plus side, it did force Barilaro to exercise his decision-making muscles. I don't think it was his actual muscles he exercised. He pushed for the funding of 8 projects that he was explicitly told not to fund, as heaven forbid Labor got more than 1 in every $11,750.
Hello, Jenna. How are you?
Barilaro's own seat, Minero, marginal seat, received nearly 1,000 times more funding than all the Labor seats combined. If that wasn't enough, just kidding.
Does this happen in the US? Is this like for those of you in the US? Does this type of rorting occur in the US? Oh, they got Eddie. They did, didn't they? Eddie for influencing bureaucrats and benefiting family. 5 years. That's right. They did, didn't they? Hello, short order cook.
Came out that he personally approved $4 million in council grants for his own electorate. Not to draw attention to his Italian heritage, because I know he hates that, but that's a spicy meatball. In fact, it looks a bit like a meatball, doesn't it?
5-star pork mince, dude.
And now we get to my pet peeve. Very peculiar, I know, as barely anyone in the press seems to care that Mr. Barilaro was responsible for trashing a national treasure that is easily as iconic.
But that's different, short order cook too, because he was he was from Labor. Corruption, Bo, particularly around election time. So whether they funnel money into so that people will vote for them.
The Great Barrier Reef, Gosford, Kosciuszko National Park, degrading tens of thousands of hectares of wilderness, pushing 27 native species to the brink of extinction. And he did it for like $10,000. Nice to know he values a second-hand Kia so highly. How's he doing all this? Well, shut up, bozo, and I'll tell you. He championed the Kosciuszko Wild Horse Heritage Bill. If he's stupid enough to pass
he did the koalas in the first. I think this is the part 2. This is the part 1. But I just want to get you. This is just so that you can see what he does. I actually have a copy of the cease and desist he got, so I can tell you. I can tell you what was in that, which I think made up form of the "you don't have corruption, it never happens." I didn't think so, Bo. Yes, I can go through the documents from cease and desist, which would make up part of the case as well, so that you can see what he took exception to.
That he'd be stupid enough to pass a bill preserving the lice on his head. Rabbits are basically majestic rabbits. They should be murdered as quickly and inhumanely as possible. Oh no, wait, sorry, I'm thinking of people from Newtown. The point is, our alpine ecosystem haven't evolved to accommodate hoofed animals. The topsoil region is extremely delicate, and when it's dug up, it's permanently degraded. As a result, due to them destroying land, trampling animals that live in the grass, fouling up the water, there are dozens of native species going extinct. Scientists and national parks proposed a cull. Giovanni, the greasy little scrotum, refused. It's a decision so stupid that New South Wales became a global laughingstock, which we completely deserve, as we elected a deputy premier whose highest qualification is a Cert 4 in housing that isn't even from a TAFE. Think about that. he couldn't graduate TAFE, an institution where if you fail, they let you look at the answers and redo the test immediately. The guy that couldn't even do that is in charge of some of the most delicate ecosystems on Earth that not even scientists properly understand.
So, we had some people protest against it, of course, but so far still not allowed. Well, they're supposed to list all their donations. There's a political donations register. Well, see, and the other thing is, Bush Maneuver, you're saying so true. A lot of what he is saying is actually truth. That's why I'm saying that I think the truth defense is going to be his strongest. Because how is Barilaro would have to prove that he's got something more than the cert floor in housing, for example.
Yeah, but I understand something that they don't. How'd they get $10,000? All this carnage for what? To allow a bunch of inbred hillbillies to tie a frightened mother up to a tree.
Well, Gladys only got through because she was protected by the press. Let's face it. And that's why there's that Royal Commission into the media in Canberra at the moment. And hopefully it will show that there is a media bias and they're protecting the wrong people. They're protecting the people that should be actually charged. There are a lot of lies involving donations. Most use money, yeah. I think if any donations... Oh, KJ mode discovery will be much more better for me. Yes. Yeah. There is a bit of, for those of you, there is a bit of KJ-like behaviour in this because he actually threw the cease and desist on the floor and walked over it. He mockingly, joked about service, did a video about how he evaded service and then got served and stuff like that. So there is a bit of that, but again, that's the satire. However, I think I don't know that the defamation aspect of it's that strong. I haven't seen the full claim. And at the end of the day, he would just have to take down his videos. But most people are going to refer to Barilaro as bruz anyway, so...
To give birth, steal the baby, and leave her there to starve to death. That's preserving the dignity of this quote-unquote cultural icon, is it, Giovanni?
Couldn't be that you got 10 grand in donations and then pretended to care about the cultural significance of a vermin that is destroying the most culturally significant national park to this nation's heritage. All for the price of a pool table. You are perfectly happy to commit ecocide just to go, yeah, sure. Want to play again? Nah.
That's what he's willing to sacrifice 27 species for. As usual, Labor demanded an investigation and that the bill be suspended until a conflict...
I mean, this goes back, I was going to say, this is 2018 because Luke Foley was the opposition leader then.
If interest was clear, no. Good old...
So this is from The Guardian. So as I said, he's got the last time was 1906. Last time... Isn't it snooker? No, no. Sorry, Will. He just got done. All caps. He's got... Sorry, Will. He got timed out.
Moderate Gladys Berejiklian declared that the accusations were grubby and that even questioning the bill was inappropriate and that the bill was based on facts. That's odd because the bill made New South Wales a global laughingstock among scientists. Everyone at National Park supported the cull. I didn't know a donor's opinion was fact and that he represented the community view. alone. Well, now you do. If I could pass a bill protecting myself as a cultural icon, I would. Gladys, can I be a protected species? For the last time, Jean, no. Oh, Mademise, you look so pretty today. So in summary, can everyone stop asking me what happened to Yilmaz? Clearly he's the deputy premier now. No, wait, that's unfair. Yilmaz at least graduated TAFE. I think with the evidence provided so far, it's been pretty well...
So this is one of the videos that is did you say the Liberal government in caps wool? Too many cats, yeah, that is one. So there are default ones. I'll have to go in and change them. Do I make LNP or Liberal or a automatic kick? He was sent to the corner. Well, that corner's where all the fun is.
Established that the constituency Barilaro truly represents the Premier of New South Wales is not New South Wales, nor Giovanni represents the electorate of Giovanni. And although he's wide enough to be an electorate, I really don't even have the resort.
Oh, hello, Laurie. And I'm grateful for integrity. This test show this point being you. I don't have to talk about you being exposed. All good. Oops. Yeah, I don't mind. And I'm an open book, Laurie, at the end of the day. Anything anybody wants to know about me, I'll tell you. Because I've lied. To be honest with you. I wonder whether jurisdiction would work if Bruz tried to sue me. But thank you very much for your super chat. Yeah, the creep show, there's some more stuff that's come up today. Some of the friends have started to do their videos. It's just there's so much drama on YouTube at the moment. It's unbelievable. But thank you, Laurie. I really appreciate it.
Forces he's personally consumed. Take, for instance, when the New South Wales government decided it was time to draft up laws regulating digital businesses like Airbnb and Stags. Barilaro couldn't stick his pudgy little hand up quick enough. Big memes, please! Why was Barilaro all of a sudden interested in this industry? Because it pertained to the oh-so-important seat of Giovanni.
So he gets into trouble. This guy gets into trouble for an undeclared B&B. Now, the moral of this story is that this guy is actually filming in the guy's B&B. Which this video is probably caused him a lot of embarrassment, actually, because when he gives you a tour of the place, and it's like, well, how does a politician afford this? But this is an Airbnb that he has actually hired out, owned by the politician.
4 months prior to becoming regional tourism minister, he bought not just a mansion, but an estate. Equipped with a mineral pool, tennis court, boat shed, lake, 7 bedrooms, which he decided to let out via Airbnb and Stags. It didn't occur to him once to register an Airbnb estate as a potential conflict of interest when shaping the laws surrounding Airbnbs and Stays.
So isn't that interesting? This is his Airbnb, and the interesting thing is, in my defense, I've had quite a few nights where I haven't had mods, and I thought I'll put Nightbot on just to see whether, if I didn't have mods, whether Nightbot would be okay. And now I've got mods. I can't win. So yeah, the politician didn't declare that he had an interest in an Airbnb when the rules for Airbnb were being drafted. And it's alleged that it was favourable to Airbnb owners.
He and his cronies arguing, Bruz, the estate only makes around 160k a year. Yeah. Just to be at 2.5 times the salary of the average Aussie in just one of the investments that he owns. That's all. Yeah, but
There is another clip on what do you do with a problem like Jordan. Yes, I've seen that one. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether the husband's the stalker. Will I think we've just got to wait. So, but that is one big estate.
Because it's still currently in the negative, so it's not an asset.
And he only gets $160,000 a year from it. Only. That's like 5 times what I get.
Haven't you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, bruz? No. Me either, Stooge. They actually argued that. As well as, bruz, what possible conflict of interest is there in me owning an extremely expensive property that I just admitted I want to...
So he says, a listing description by Ray White Real Estate Agents at Braidwood from 2014 states, currently partially leased for executive holiday stays. The property generates an income of over $160,000 per annum. Mr. Barilaro's spokesman said the partnership owning Dungowan made a loss during the return periods, and so it has been interpreted as not requiring declarations. So they're saying because it made a loss, they don't have to declare it. But it made only $160,000 a year. On your video on this thing with Bruz, I thought Bruz was... No, this is Bruz. So how, and it says that he's underdeclared it. How can he not? You don't know your salary, Bush? Well, I'm on a study, so mine's next to nothing.
Maximize the value on as quickly as possible. He's declaring his conflict of interest in his own argument as to why he doesn't have a conflict of interest. What repercussions were there for this blatant display of corruption, regulatory tailoring made to fit John Marilaro's very specific ways?
Nothing.
Still in a job, still got to shape the laws. Just another chapter in a long, distinguished career of rorting the system as much as he possibly can for the benefit of no one but La Familia. His view of governing, exactly what it was in ancient Rome. No vision for improving the state, no skills to govern, just a fat, decadent con man that by the grace...
Yeah, I'd like to say that I would like to be able to say 160,000 is not a lot. I drool at the thought of that. Actually, I would like to actually earn enough to be able to get a tax cut from the government, but I don't. I'm even under that threshold. But anyway,
of the gods was put in his position to ransack the empire for all its worth, and yet he's offended by being portrayed as an Italian.
See, YouTuber Friendlyjordies is savage for very racist impersonation of New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian and her deputy, but is it really that bad? To intimidate both myself and the Premier with such obvious distaste for our backgrounds is unacceptable. Our migrant story is actually the Australian success story, one this nation's proud of. That's all right. I'm a bit slow, John. So this is his biggest complaint is the accents.
In stereotype. Well, Giovanni, if you find that comparison deeply offensive, same offer as to all your other discrepancies. Show me the evidence that you're not a stereotype. I'll stop. Show me how a man on a state minister's salary could afford an estate as not even your first house, your second house. A second house that's so big it has a second and third house on it.
I don't know how, but now I'm interested in Australian politics. Oh, yeah, I'll get you all interested in Australia, but yeah. Third house, 3 houses on it. It is a rabbit hole. How could he afford that? So he just asked for the proof that he's not the stereotype. Oh, well, I'd like to have that issue where I could have a how out of touch you can be. How out of touch can you be? $160,000 worth of out of touch. So these are the questions he's asked. These are the questions he's asking.
Like Mars's 2 moons just got attracted into its gravitational pull. And might I just say, those spare houses are real nice, Giovanni. Yeah, I'm talking directly to you. Because as you've probably gathered, or haven't because you're that dumb, I'm filming at your estate. And I want you to be the first to know that I f***ed in both your guest houses. What is it your mate Ben Fordham always says? Politics is a dirty game. Hey, Vera? With my track record of what I've done in your houses, still nowhere near as dirty as what you've done to get them.
There you go. Joining the political party seems to be the missing link in how to grow your wealth through property. I think so. It is good to see that there are issues everywhere. It doesn't, yeah. I do like the end.
You should know that you make a lot of enemies in politics. Thought you'd at least check who's booking your houses. Someone might want to have a little snoop. Remember when you chucked a tanty when the arts minister Don Harwin broke
He said tanty! He said tanty!
the lockdown rules and visited his holiday house, and then weeks later you did exactly the same thing and said, "No, but mine's essential. I need to feed the chooks and mow the lawn. I'm a farmer." You know, for a long time I thought you were lying you had chickens. This place is so big they're hard to find. We checked the butler's pantry, the mineral pool, your private cooking lake that you ostensibly afforded on a public servant's salary. How did you afford to run this place at a loss, John?
Ah, there they are. Nice breed.
We paid the obscenely lavish amount of money he charges to stay here, so if you could help us out by signing up to Patreon, that'd be great, because he's hurt. I mean, there's a $750 cleanup bill to give you an idea. Anyone would think someone shaped the laws to legalise that level of extortion. Don't worry, I'll make sure I get my money's worth.
So now he's going to... Oh, you remember this? This is actually my favourite bit, John, of the whole thing.
Oops. Seeing as we're here, though, I thought we'd give everyone a nice tour of this beautiful maison, just so everyone can really appreciate how spacious this place is and how much stuff Giovanni must have done that we don't even know about to earn it. And, this is a little bonus, I thought we'd be placing some Super Mario Brothers paraphernalia around the house and points that really tick us off. So Giovanni, while you're picking these up, and you're pissed that they're there, that's how I feel that you own this house in the first place. You might be wondering, oh my God, Bruz, how can I do this? Is this even legal? Don't worry, Johnny B. I got permission to film here for my birthday, for my socials. And can I just say, Giovanni, this is the best present I've ever received. Make sure you press like, subscribe, and chuck us a couple of bucks on Patreon. What a birthday!
So now he's going to put Super Mario Brother products right throughout the house. So we'll watch the end and then we'll talk about the arrest.
Bruz, what do you think of the decoration that I made for you up there? This is how much Barilaro loves Gladys Berejiklian. Tell you what does get you going in the morning, though. Bruz Expressies. You can get him going in the morning. This is my impression of John Barilaro going down the stairs. Let's go! Whee! Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, I would be too, John. I'd be very, very happy if someone would put Mario products in my house because they're not cheap.
Hashtag Super Barolaro Bros. Get it trending. Also, make sure you get your Super Barolaro Bros shirt available at friendlyjordies.com. But for now, bros, thanks so much for watching my show. Like and subscribe and share. Woohoo!
I think he was actually. I think he was actually. Oh, turn on.
Finally, we're going to put the big Mario in the big bed.
Sorry.
Only because I'm imagining that Super Barolaro Bros will wake up one morning only to discover
See, he was there. Go. That's a wombat. All right. So that's one of the videos that got him into trouble. All right. So that's what's got him into some trouble. So let's have a look at the cease and desist that he was issued with. As I said, I don't have the court documents. I actually have to apply for them, which I will do. So let me pull up the cease and desist here, and we'll see what he says. Let's see what the It's 343. And how much is that property worth? Well, he only makes 100 and whatever thousand. He doesn't earn that much, apparently. I think that's what's been alluded to, is that there is something going on. And then we'll talk about the rest. So for those of you that usually watch, and we usually talk about Katie Joy, we're really sort of not really talking about her tonight. Okay, so here we go. This is actually on Friendlyjordies Facebook page. That's how I managed to get it. So, dear sir, the Deputy Premier of New South Wales, Sarah loves donuts. I would go into entertainment law because I'm doing my music degree. I'd go into entertainment law and probably YouTube and all of that stuff. You'd had enough of it anyway. Yeah, so I'm looking at probably YouTube and internet stuff. So it says, we act for the Deputy Premier of New South Wales, John Barilaro. We are instructed that you have been engaging in an indefensible, racist and defamatory campaign against our client. In particular, we refer to the following video matter as published by you through your Friendlyjordies YouTube account. A video headed bruz, commencing with the words Friendlyjordies has been routinely exposing corruption and misdeeds of the New South Wales coalition government. The first video. See, KJ, we can talk about other things. I know, and I have to say, if KJ made a video as funny as that one. Anyway, so second video was video headed, I called John Barilaro, and he answered. Video headed The Italian Job, the third video. Video headed Super Barrilaro Cart, the fourth video. Video headed Secret Dictatorship, the fifth video. Video headed Bruzboard, the sixth video. Video headed I Break the Government, the seventh video. Video headed Koala Killer 2.0 meme review, the eighth video. Video headed Friendlyjordies is cancelled, the ninth video. A few do. Poppy Seeds does, I think. Short Order Cook does. I think, who else? Bush lives there too. All right, so that's that one. So they're the videos, okay? Oh, well, no, we've got more. Video headed, I'm on the news, the 10th video. The first video contains the following statements about our client, another big, fat wog, expletive. He's a con man to the core, powered by spaghetti, you ball of grease. Let's look at water theft. Seriously, though, I think he's corrupt. I told you he was a dumb F. He wears his corruption as a badge of honor. John Barilaro, a.k.a. Greasy Ned Kelly. I'm in Victoria as well. A man who looks like a mafia don. He perjured himself 9 times over, not to draw attention to his Italian heritage. He looks like a bit of a meatball. Giovanni, the greasy little scrotum. Just a fat, decadent con man. Yes, it is. Totally clueless. However, it used to be a term of endearment, but it's not any longer. The first video is grossly defamatory by our client, amongst others, conveying the following imputations of or concerning him: that our client is criminal, our client is a member of the mafia, our client has committed perjury on 9 times, our client has corruptly engaged in water theft. The second video contains the following statement about our client: Have you had any external affairs, extramarital? The second video is grossly defamatory of our client by conveying the imputation that he's committed adultery. We note that the second video impermissibly records the telephone conversation that took place between yourself and our client. Although you use the words, "this is a recording," at the commencement of the conversation, such words alone cannot constitute informed consent on the part of our client to you recording the conversation. In the circumstances, your conduct in recording the conversation without our client's consent would appear to constitute a contravention of the provisions of S7 of the Surveillance Devices Act, New South Wales. The third video contains the following statements about our client: after releasing a week's worth of dirt on you. If anyone likes messing with Italians more than me, it's John Barilaro. Oops. How do you steal a building? They found a way. It would be a lot easier to build a building in the first place, but Calabrian habits die hard. First off, assemble a crack team of wogs: Giovanni Domicchio Barilaro, a.k.a. Fat Italian Meatball, a.k.a. Stupid Fat Idiot. The best way to do that is to push the club into financial ruin. Codename Fat Meatball has done damage by racking up $150,000 in unsecured debt. Jordan Shanks impersonating our client. It's such a slimy act from the community we've done so much for by attempting to steal their club. Actually, saying your recording is enough for public servants is enough for private conversations. You join the club, you get into debt from the inside, you buy the asset for pennies on the Lyra, you force the club to close down so you can sell it for an insane profit. That's how you steal a building. The third video is grossly defamatory of our client, amongst others, conveying the following imputation of and concerning him: our client has acted corruptly in stealing a building from the Italian community. The fourth video contains the following statements about our client: Jordan Shanks impersonating our client, bribing a police officer. How about I slip you some cash? Come on, this always works back in Monaro. We don't even call it a bribe there. Jordan Shanks impersonating our client. Why is everyone picking on me? The fourth video is grossly defamatory of our client, amongst others, conveying the following imputation of and concerning him: our client was a criminal in that he engaged in the bribing of police. The fifth video contains the following statements about our client: Jordan Shanks referring to our client: did you know that blackmail is illegal? I wonder how illegal it is to use taxpayers' money as blackmail to shut your critics up. If this is who I think it is, and I do think that, he's such a scab that he doesn't even use his own money to blackmail. People like John Barilaro might be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. All these people that you assume are getting getting $100,000, $200,000 a year for being a public servant. They don't care about it. It's the same thing as what happened with Putin, just where he's like, I'm just the president. I get a little bit more than the American president. Yeah, on the books, off the books, he's richer than Bill Gates. We're quite certain that this is happening to these towns because you tell me where the money goes. Council has close to 50 million sitting around in accounts. Where is it now? Where did it go? Certainly not going anywhere. Since Bruz is back in Parliament, let's start asking him if he's ever used his position to blackmail councillors he doesn't like. Perhaps we can refer him to ICAC with his good old mate Gladys. The fifth video is grossly defamatory by our client, amongst others, conveying the following imputations and of concern. I have to tell you, though, that every time he's talked about corruption or allegations of corruption, he's had receipts. Yeah, I wrote that. Wind Whispers. Yeah. Our client has acted corrupted by engaging in blackmail of councillors. The sixth video contains the following statements about our client. You fat little meatball. Here is a fresh allegation of you doing illegal stuff. We're not letting John Barilaro get away with any of his shady dealings. We've been informed by an anonymous source who started the email with, as you're well aware, John Barilaro has a penchant for dumb little annoying crimes. Unless he bought or leased that land, he's broken the law. John Barilaro up. In fact, not only has he something, he's currently up in the process of the last 8 years of a continual up. The sixth video is grossly defamatory of our client, amongst others, conveying the following imputation of and concerning him. Our client is a criminal who has engaged in illegal dealings. The seventh video contains the following statements and images about our client. A photograph of our client with a speech bubble next to him, which reads, F koalas. No one apart from Spaghetti Champion over here wants to see iconic species that are crucial to the eucalyptus ecosystem go extinct. You, referring to Annabelle Crabb, are pretty much the only person on earth who can't call John Barilaro a grandstanding egomaniac, oxygen thief. Thank you, Dang Dang. Nice to see you. So then we've got our client engaged in a destructive campaign to make koalas extinct. The eighth video contains the following images about our client, an image with a photograph of our client's head that reads, I think a good old-fashioned koala burning today. An image with a photograph of our client's head depicting our client shooting at koalas. An image with a photograph of our client's head that reads, oh, I shouldn't have appointed a white supremacist, killed a koala, then whine like a little something Reno. The eighth video is grossly defamatory by our client, amongst others, conveying the following imputations of and concerning him. Our client has engaged the services of a white supremacist to cruelly kill koalas by burning them. The ninth video contains the following statements about our client. It says, man whose election campaign was run by a little guy with links to white supremacist organisations that even other national MPs thought was just a tad. Yeah, and they've redacted that. You know what I think is a low attempt at comedy? Your existence, apart from that, the fact the media refuses to cover your government's deplorable environment track record, even when showing a video discussing it, will deliberately cut off all horrific stats that you're responsible for so that they can turn you, the blazer of 1 billion native animals, into a victim. That's what I find a little more unacceptable than the word bruz. So, as I said, this was the cease and desist. I don't know what's made it into the claim, but if these have made it into the claim and corruption's made it into the claim, then Bruz, I'm going to call him Bruz, he will have to prove that he's not corrupt. Jordan Shanks impersonating our client as the character of Mario for Mario's Kart. We've approved development and logging proposals in koala habitats, starving them, fast-forwarding their extinction clock, and didn't make any effort at all in an attempt to save their populations by mutilating Labor's Native Vegetation Act. I fought for increased land clearing by about 45%, but what's this? I increased it by 1,300%. Mamma mia. When I discovered the Brumbies were destroying Kosciuszko National Park, bringing a bunch of endangered species to the brink of extinction, I was going to offer a cull, but then I realised I could make tens of thousands in donations by allowing them to destroy the park. Woohoo. Not one who is perfectly happy to destroy one of the most culturally significant emblems of the country for $10,000 in donations. What I find quite actually very offensive, the fact that parasites like you are perfectly happy to wipe out entire native species, not to mention permanently degrade the region, whose beauty inspired the man of our $10 bill for just 1,000 of those. So my human might be cheap, Giovanni, but at least my soul isn't cheap. It was Luigi, not Mario. Well, see, I thought it was Luigi, but they've put in here Mario. Yes. The ninth video is grossly defamatory of our clients by, amongst others, conveying the following imputations of and concerning him. Our client has sought to make koalas extinct in return for a payment to him of $10,000 bribe. The 10th video contains the following statements about our client. 26 minutes outlining tens of millions of taxpayer dollar corruption. We've got more dirt on him. The 10th video is grossly defamatory by her client, by, amongst others, conveying the following imputation and concerning him. Our client is a corrupt politician who is engaged in tens of millions of dollars of corrupt conduct. Each of the imputations specified are completely false and seriously defamatory of our client by reason of the significant extent of publication of the videos. For example, the first video having over 550,000 views. Their publication has caused serious harm and damage to our client's reputation, both as a politician and a personality. I could argue that. Further, your vile and racist attack on our client has caused him immense personal hurt. Your conduct in publishing those attacks is beneath contempt. Our client will no longer tolerate the publication by you of the attacks upon him, and on behalf of our client, we demand the following. A, the immediate removal of said videos from your YouTube account and from any other online platforms. An apology, publication of apology to our client in terms to be agreed. Payment to our client of an amount of damages agreeable to him as compensation for the hurt and harm that he suffered by reason of conduct. Payment of our client's reasonable costs. Oh, sorry, short order cook. Oh, I'll have to have another look at that. Payment of our client's reasonable costs for acting in the matter. We place you on notice, and should you not agree to our demands within 14 days of date thereof, when instructed or therefore to institute defamation proceedings against you in the Federal Court of Australia, seeking damages, aggravated damages, and costs without further notice. So, yes, there was a show called Wog Boys in Australia. Anyway, so that was the cease and desist. So he ignored it. I believe in fact, it's got a stain on it, and he did a video where he actually stained it. He said he put it. So if you look at this first page, so he did a video where he treated it with disdain. I'll have another look. So he talks about the stains on it. So, but anyway, so that was the cease and desist. So he didn't respond in 14 days. So then he got the legal, he got sued for defamation. So, oh, you think it was the computer? Okay, I was going to say, I'm just having a look at Nightbot. Nightbot will tell me who they threw out. Only 2 people. Will and me more are the 2 that have been kicked out. So, as I said, I'm going to ask the court for copies of the documentation. I would like to actually see what is actually happening there. I really would. Let's have a look at the arrest video. Let's look at the arrest video that he did, because this is really what got me all this is what got me absolutely fired up yesterday. This is why I did the video. This is why and this is why I did the follow-up today. As I said, I didn't realize that it was such a hot topic, and got lots of different. I've gotten lots of stuff. So this is Friendlyjordies. This is the arrest video. So what I'll do is when I do all the YouTubey things.
My name is Jordan Shanks, and I'm being sued by John Barilaro, the Deputy Premier of New South Wales.
Hang on, Jordan. Has done as Parliament House, Canberra. That is why Christo was crying. Yes, that's why he was trying to.
Recently, I've treated this legal problem with the levity it did.
All right. I will put the links to the videos so you can go back and have another look at them. All right. You got tossed. All right. So this is what he says, and he has been treating it with not much seriousness, to be honest with you. All right. So let's go. Oh no, that's wrong. What's happened here? That's John Clark. That's all right. Here we go. Here we go. No, that's not it either. Why? Why are you doing this to me, internet? Here we go. Only goes for 13 minutes, so let's see that. Nightbot hasn't kicked anyone out. But see, that's what baffled me, that the defamation papers had a Canberra when he's actually not a Canberra politician. That's got me confused, actually. All right, so here we go. Come on. I should have downloaded it, shouldn't I?
Up until recently, I've treated this legal problem with the levity it deserves, but in all honesty, every move I've made, no matter how ridiculous it appeared, has been both legal and considered. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the Deputy Premier, who has impulsively, maliciously escalated the situation at every turn, and in doing so, out-clowned the clown. I understood that the usual procedure for silencing dissent in a Western democracy is to outspend your opponent, legally or electorally. What I did not realise is that defence is quite literally papered in. Australia...
So this was on the 14th of June that he did this.
Does have its own secret police, and they get sent in very quickly, particularly when the skin is as thin as said paper. On the 4th of June, plainclothes armed officers stormed into my employee's home, violently assaulted his family, nearly killed his dog, pinned him to the ground, handcuffed him, and dragged him into an unmarked police car.
So that's what's happened, and as he does, it's all recorded. It was all recorded, so...
If you're wondering if I've accidentally mixed up a story from Pinochet's Chile with a standard arrest in Australia, I did not. That's what his father thought, who stated at the moment of this incident, understandably panicked.
You can't do this in Australia. Sorry? You can't just take someone in Australia out of their house.
He's right. You absolutely cannot. And yet they did. With unsettling arrogance, seeing as several cameras were filming what they could of the event.
Wind Whispers, I think it is brutal considering what has been alleged. There was a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this, and this is the wrong way. But I will let you, as I always do, I show you the stuff and then you make up your own mind. Because, you know,
Imagine what they'd do if they weren't. Here's the footage.
No, I'm allowed to film it. No, I'm allowed to film it. Could you
I'm allowed to film it.
Can you film this, Mum? You can film it. That's
Okay.
okay. You're not allowed to. Yeah. I'm not allowed to. No, Mum, you can take that. No, you can take.
now this is what I don't understand, right? One of the police officers says, you can film it, but you can't. And they know that he's handing the phone back to his mother.
Take my phone. No, take my phone. Take my phone. Don't you What the fuck? They're giving away evidence to try to run away with it.
Giving away evidence and trying to run away with it? No, he wanted to give his mum the phone so she could record it. That's what was said. That was what was agreed to.
Yeah? Don't go off with evidence. Okay? How are you doing this? You're at work. Jesus Christ.
Gail says, this is absolutely disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting.
What the fuck? This is bizarre. This is not Australia. Yeah, it's not.
Have you got the number? You hurt a 51-year-old woman. You knocked
I
me
tripped over.
You killed my dog.
I tripped
Who's
over.
old.
Okay?
No, you did not.
Yeah,
You pushed away. You pushed
No,
me
no,
down.
I tripped over.
You
That's
assaulted
whatever
me.
it was.
You assaulted
Okay.
me. You just assaulted me like all
did.
witnesses.
If a counter-terrorism agent can't handle a 50-year-old woman with arthritis, we are in trouble. To try and give the phone to his mum, as they say, it was evidence. It doesn't excuse or justify anything else, but that was an error on his part. I'm sorry, but that was totally uncalled for. It actually sounds like they charged at him for passing his phone. That's what it sounds like. That's what I got. But I think the guy says when he goes, but you can record. They knew that he was going to do that. Yes, Wind Whispers. And this is because you'll find out what he did wrong. This is a counter-terrorism group, by the way. And this is related to the defamation case.
We told you to hand over the phone.
I have got witnesses.
You handed it to her. I tripped over you.
You pushed
That's what
me
happened.
down in my own home.
No, I didn't.
You
I
absolutely
covered environment. That's all.
You big goon.
If you do anything to my son, you will pay.
You can't do this in Australia.
You're correct too, Wind Whispers. Sorry, who was that? They could have taken totally clueless. They could have taken the phone before they arrested him. In fact, that was their mistake. Gotta love us mama bears. I know.
Sorry? You can't just take someone in Australia like that out of their house. Make sure you don't lose it. That's all. I just want to make sure it's...
And at this point in time, they have no idea what he's done wrong either. And again, that's not a valid. My understanding of is that they have to tell you what you've done wrong, and they haven't.
I am.
On record.
So I just got assaulted. So who do I ring for that?
So I go to the con, I walk past John Barrel hour in a day, Mum. I go to the car behind. You know what your son did to that? That's good to know.
No, I want to
You don't want to know?
legal representation. He went to university. He went into...
You might be wondering who this brave defender...
You're about to find out what he did today. Apparently, he went to university. The only thing that's missing is the SWAT team. You're right, Gail. The only thing missing is the SWAT team.
Of corruption at the highest level is. He's from the Counter-Terrorism and Special Tactics Command Fixated Persons Unit. But
yes, counter-terrorism designed to look at extremists. Oh, really? KJ's up? Well, she'll be very disappointed that I'm not talking about her, Peter. Oh, I got other things. I've been too busy with looking at all the stuff that's happened today.
let's just focus on this point. Christo was arrested by a counter-terrorism unit. This is not an attack on the police. These shadowy figures are not the police. They are the product of the powers the coalition have handed this legalised goon squad to be their state-funded Praetorian Guard under the guise of protecting you from amorphous and ill-defined boogeymen. To give you an idea of how far-reaching and sinister this legislation is.
It sounds like Bruz has a pull there. It's, you know what? This is really hilarious, right? This is really funny because if anybody ever asks anybody, anyone of my community from overseas, who's the Deputy Premier of New South Wales, you're all going to say Bruz. You're going to say, oh, that's Bruz. And so, but if we can get this issue out there, and apply the pressure. How will he feel knowing that we're reaching international people with Bruz? Because I struggle to say his name, so it's just Bruz.
The following accusation now warrants the unbridled force of this self-appointed extra-legal mafia.
You know what your son did to that? You don't know?
No, I want to
You don't want to know?
legal representation. What did he went to university. He went into
I go to con. Yeah.
He goes to school right there.
Yeah. He was harassing the deputy premier at a state funeral.
We'll be getting it.
No, he was arrested. He went to university, but he was harassing the deputy premier at a state funeral. Yes, that's what he's been done for.
Into that slip-up later. But as you'll soon discover, it appears as if the unit was acting on false information. But for now, let's continue right from when he was arrested. According to Christo, the normal uniformed police were reasonable and professional. He felt bad that they had to process the claim on a Friday night when they obviously had much more important matters to deal with than a tantrum. There was one officer who he did not place in that category. Unsurprisingly, it was the man who, after illegally bowling over Christo's arthritic mother, proceeded to repeatedly chastise Christo about cyberbullying. Sticks and stones, eh? Christo attempted to explain how our work is not cyber...
The other thing is that this has been approved by the legal team because the lawyers actually shared this link. So this has been put together by, this has been approved by his lawyer team. The 3 down votes is probably because people just assume that I'm going to talk about a certain person, and so they just downvote me without even knowing that I'm not even talking about them, unless it's Super Bruz. All right.
bullying. It's journalism. The cop, appearing unable to grasp the point, eventually piped down, possibly to reflect on how even he knew he had just broken the law on camera. Eventually, they've detained Christo for the absolute legal max amount of time they can without really sticking their necks out, and they released him on bail. He's been charged with 2 counts of stalk and intimidate.
Now, this is interesting. I didn't say look perfect. So, a stalking and intimidate. And so the first one was in April. So this says crimes, stalk or intimidate to cause fear of physical or mental harm between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. on the 19th of 4th, 2021 at Macquarie University. did stalk, intimidate John Barilaro with the intent of causing the said John Barilaro to fear physical or mental harm. Then the second one was the day he was at university between 12:20 and 12:30 in Sydney. So he got charged with 2 stalking offences. That's it. 2. Do you know that there are women who and men that are leaving violent partners that have multiple of these that can't get assistance? And the Deputy Premier is 2, and you're talking about April and June. You can't even say that there's a pattern there. I'm not even a lawyer, and I can see how that is stupid. Like, how can you say that he stalked and intimidated on two occasions, and then somehow he's a menace? Both my parents, even my grandmother, are paying attention to this case now. Both. And the other thing is, both incidences have been recorded. There's video footage on everything. So let's just see what he's got to say.
Intending to cause fear or physical or mental harm. Let me explain exactly what Christo did to warrant this arrest. It starts the day before with people John Barilaro himself had paid contacting Christo. They called him multiple times demanding to know where I was. This was only after they stalked me at my own property without knocking. Remember this. This is important because this is people acting on the will of John Barilaro contacting me and my employee. Here is another phone call as proof.
Yeah, hi, my name is that Christo?
Yeah. I just record all my phone calls just as a security measure. So yeah, what's up?
Sure. Look, I've got a document for Jordan. I think somebody rang you about it.
Yeah, he did. He just didn't give me his number. I think I just got a missed private number, and I was checking voicemails, but I didn't get one.
We eventually met up with the process servers as detailed here, but keep in mind, this was only thanks to people John Barilaro paid contacting my employee, Christo. When we got the law...
So this is the other thing. So I think the law in Victoria is at least 5 times a day. To me, having an incident 2 months apart is anyway. So this is interesting. So remember, Barilaro is also suing Google because Google apparently didn't take the videos down when he requested it.
Lawsuit document, we realised it had a blatant mistruth in it. It stated the applicant John Barilaro's address incorrectly. The lawsuit could not continue unless this problem was rectified. The next day, Christo was in the city for a uni class he has regularly on most Fridays. To get there, he walks through the domain. He also had the lawsuit with him as he was photographing it to give to our potential lawyers. On the way back from his uni class, he noticed John Barilaro getting into a car. Now, as an employee of mine, he realised this was an auspicious opportunity to hand John back the error-laden document, giving John an opportunity to fix his...
If this constitutes story every time... Oh, journalists. It means journalists can't go chasing after people to get their story or interview. I mean, it makes it... if it is stalking, everybody's in trouble. I have to come back in to check the numbers, otherwise it won't. Oh, okay. No, it's okay. It's I've just checked. It's 37. I've got 37. $40 now. So it's just refreshed to 40. Yeah. All right.
Mistake. He attempted to hand the document back. Nothing more, nothing less. John ignored him, got in his car, and was driven off. An extremely innocuous interaction. Here's the full video.
Okay, so we're going to see the stalking incident, okay? What I'll do is once it's played, I'll stop it, and you can tell me what you think about it. He's going to show you the statement that was given as well. And speak of the devil, there is Nightbot. Yeah, a Nightbot is scheduled to talk every 15 minutes.
Hey, John. John. Oh, yeah, John. I've got something for you. John, I've got a lawsuit. You're suing my boss. John. 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 John.
Okay, question. Question. Do you think that was stalking? Do you think that is the incident? That's what he got arrested for. That is what he got arrested for. That got him arrested. No, of course not. And he walked the opposite direction. So that's what it says. It says he stalked intending to cause fear of physical or mental harm. He did stalk and intimidate John Barilaro with the intention of causing the said John Barilaro to fear physical or mental harm. That is the charge. That interaction apparently caused John Barilaro to fear physical or mental harm. They are stupid to think that these things don't get recorded and reporting rubbish. Just shows the public there is something he's hiding.
His job. In case you're wondering what the second count is, it's when he accompanied me to visit John at the end of Bruz Eternal. He's now at risk of going to jail for 3 years because of that. And here are the bail conditions. He must not approach Bruz or contact him in any way unless contacting him through a lawyer. He cannot go within 200 metres of any place John Barilaro lives or any place where he works. He can't possess or share images or caricatures of the protected persons. On a side note, isn't this joke from an older video incredible with this new context that John Barilaro now actually is a protected person?
Well, that's a really good question, Wind Whispers. Why? I didn't see that one. I'll have to trace that one out. Remember when Krista asked about her land clearing record and called her Mrs. McQuire? Well, yeah, David says. That's right, half the size of Bruz. Obviously, Jabez has spoken to us what fear and mental harm is about. Well, that's right, short order cook. Bruz. Politician, polybrain, it's a disease. Jails filled with reporters. Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I find it interesting how this has all been played out in YouTube first. Well, we've got the court of public opinion, really. Anyway.
If I could pass a bill protecting myself as a cultural icon, I would. Gladys, can I be a protected species? For the last time, Jean, no. Oh, but Mies, you look so pretty today. He can't comment on the personal appearance or behaviour of the protected persons.
So it's the word protected persons. He's a protected persons now. Allegedly.
And he can't participate in the publishing of content further harassing the victim. If Christo does any of that, jests about him, even dares speak his name, he goes to jail like it's the Dark Ages. So suffice to say, he has nothing to do with publishing the content of today. Christo's lawyer says these are the weirdest bail conditions he's ever seen in his entire career practicing law. And now here's the most insane part of this story. The arrest was done with absolutely no evidence.
How's that? The arrest was done with no evidence.
You know how I know that? Because the police haven't sent the footage I just showed you. When Christo was released, he was given a police statement of facts. Here it is. Unfortunately, though, it's not really a statement of facts because it appears that someone has lied in their statement to the police.
So are you ready for this? Are you ready to see the statement? I know some of you have seen it, some of you haven't. But again, this is really concerning.
On Friday, the 4th of June 2021, the victim was attending a funeral at St Mary's Cathedral on College Street, Sydney.
About 12:30 p.m, the funeral had ended and the victim was returning to his vehicle parked nearby on Hospital Road. The accused was seen to follow the victim for about 200 metres before approaching the victim as he approached the waiting car. Here's the video. And it starts about exactly where Christo noticed John Barrow. Does that look like he was following him for 200 metres? He couldn't have been, because that was the first Christo saw of John, seconds before the phone was recording. Furthermore, Christo was walking back to his own car in the opposite direction that John's vehicle was heading. How the hell could he follow John? So let's get a lie counter up. Was seen to be followed for 200
So he's going to do a lie. So it says it was seen to be following the victim for 200 metres before approaching the victim as he approached the waiting car. The accused was filming using his mobile phone saying, "Deputy Premier, why are you suing my boss? And you're corrupt." The victim got into his car and the accused rounded the car, still filming, attempting to speak to the victim through the window of the car. Here's a question for you. If the statement of facts says that the guy was filming, why didn't they check the guy's phone? Why didn't they? So remember how it went to, if they had taken the phone at the start of the arrest and then they've got here. So they've not even followed the procedure. They've got here that it was recorded, but they've not looked at the recording. Things are just not adding up. Can someone make this make sense? Because none of this makes sense. That none of this is making sense. It's saying he was filming using his mobile phone, yet nobody dared ask about the phone. To get the phone and erase the footage. Well, that could be correct, totally clueless. But they didn't. But the fact that it says was using a mobile phone to film shows that there's footage. They literally come off as just trying to shut him up. That's what it comes off as. Yep, I can repeat that. Okay, so I've got to take it back again.
Cathedral on College Street, Sydney. About 12:30 p.m, the funeral had ended and the victim was returning to his vehicle parked nearby on Hospital Road. The accused was seen to follow the victim for about 200 metres before approaching the victim as he approached the waiting car. Here's the video. And it starts about exactly where Christo noticed John Barrow. Does that look like he was following him for 200 metres? He couldn't have been, because that was the first Christo saw of John, seconds before the phone was recording. Furthermore, Christo was walking back to his own car in the opposite direction that John's vehicle was heading. How the hell could he follow John? So let's get a lie counter on. Was seen to be followed.
So after this, we'll ask whether Christo is innocent or guilty. We might as well do the whole kangaroo court stuff. Go away. I could be a... All right. So here we go.
For 200 metres. That's lie one. Also, we're going to subpoena the CCTV footage from the area. The accused was...
So that's the other thing. They're going to subpoena the CCTV footage of the area. Again, nobody investigated the claims before the arrest was made to check the CCTV footage or to check that there was film footage. And don't forget, I think there was a time, this was the 4th, I think he was arrested on the 5th. So Christo could have actually put it onto his computer or had sent it to somebody or had done it, had backed it up somewhere. So even if they had taken it off the phone, I don't like bruz. Christo would be innocent regardless.
Filming using his mobile phone saying, "Deputy Premier, why are you suing my boss? And you're corrupt." Okay, let's play the video.
Hey, John. Hey, John. I've got something for you. John, I've got a lawsuit. You're suing my boss. John.
Pretty apparent Christo never specifically said, "Deputy Premier, why are you suing my boss?"
And he didn't ever utter the phrase, "You're corrupt." 2 more lies on the counter, 3 all up. Let's keep going. The victim got into his car and the accused rounded the car, still filming, attempting to speak to the victim through the window of the car. Lie 4. In a police statement, Christo clearly didn't round the car, lied about being seen, lied about what Christo said, lied about rounding the car. Lying in a police statement is a crime. Lying in a police statement to get a journalist arrested and his family beaten is worse. Someone's done it. Who do you think it was? Questions.
Where is the you're corrupt? It's not there. That's right, short order cook. But 1.5, does he? Bruz sounds really hilarious. See, I told you he's going to be Bruz. Everyone is going to know that Bruz is the Deputy Premier of New South Wales. Oh, we're educating all of our American friends here.
Questions. I guess we'll have to wait to find out in court. The date's been set. But let me just say this. For John Barilaro's career, I certainly hope it was his driver. Can't wait to find out, though. You know who else can't wait to find out? Our lawyer. I guess now's a good time to announce who he is. Mark Davis from Xenophon Davis, Gold Walkley winning ex-Four Corners journalist and the lawyer for Afghan whistleblower hero David McBride. John's thrown the full force of a civil suit against me, and now he's, in my opinion, flaunting 100 years of Australian democratic norms to bring criminal charges against my employee. And Mark is going to represent both Christo and myself, and also take on the cops who assaulted his family. There's a link to donate to our legal funding.
So he does have a legal fund that he's doing that. So it looks like they're going to take up charges on the police as well.
The description. Donate if you can, because this has gone from a legal spectacle that exposes the limits of free speech to exposing the confines of your civil liberties, which are a lot smaller than you thought. I will be putting the money from my Clive Palmer legal fund to this. Any money donated will be greatly appreciated, because think about this from our perspective. We can't go to the cops for help. We can't go to Parliament for help. All we have are the courts. And just to end this video, I have some questions. Who directed this arrest? Did David Elliott, the police minister, know about this? How do you expect me to continue engaging in your defamation lawsuit, John, when my employees who I pay to work on it get arrested for merely doing their jobs? Who in their right mind can let John continue to be Deputy Premier after this? It's time to turn the tables. Which of the Liberal and National MPs are going to distance themselves from John Barilaro? He needs to resign. This needs to be referred to ICAC. This is the end of the line for John, because if it's not, New South Wales goes from state to police state.
And that was it. So what do you reckon? What is the verdict? Well, I did say it before, Gail. I don't know that you were here, but the Xenophon is Nick Xenophon, the ex-politician. He was independent and then set up the Central Alliance Party. So he's the Xenophon and the Davis. So what do you reckon? Is it an abuse of power? It would seem like that. There's lots of questions. I've got more questions than that. So I read somewhere that June the 26th, I think I've got it written down. June the 26th is the court date. No, it's not. Is it 25th? It's before the defamation hearing. It's in the last week of June, when he's got to go to court. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I will try and get in on that one. Well, I can't get in because I'm not there, but I'm going to see. I've got to see if I can get the details. Needs to be brought to attention. Yeah. Well, as I said, my channel has just blown up because I've done 3 videos on this matter, and the channel's just blown up because people are watching it. And well, it would be good. It would, the defamation case will be dismissed. Bruz will be charged. It would be good, but Oh, I will definitely keep you all updated. I have done some other videos. I am the media. You reckon? Shall I say that I'm the media? I don't know if I can. I can ask. I do have the I know I did gain a few more subs. I know I gained a heap of subs. Because I actually was filming part 2 of Harold Holt this morning, my Harold Holt story thing, as everyone requested. So for those newbies, because I have a lot of people from the US, they're interested in Australian stuff in Australia, and I was putting together a whole video on the disappearance of Harold Holt. So, well, yes, I am reporting actual stuff, but I don't call myself the media. I sort of laugh at that. I covered more than the mainstream media. Sorry, it's the 9th. Oh, sorry, the 9th of July. Oh, the 9th of July is the defamation hearing, but I think the criminal proceedings is before that. But I'll get a date and I'll let you all know. I'm your media outlet. Oh. I also needed to do an update on the Porter case because he's been ordered to pay fees, and I'm trying to find out whether he's applying for a government grant to pay those fees. I haven't found that. Yeah. So I'm going to apply to get. I think I might apply to get the documents to see what was filed, because I'm really interested to see what they're actually going to do. I want to know what Barilaro. Well, that no one's mentioned the corruption allegations. It's all been about the fact they're focused on the fact that the Airbnb and the videos, but no one's focused on the fact that Jordan has actually called out the corruption. So that's a bit of a worry. And somebody did tell me in one of my comments that the Murdoch media hadn't covered it at all, which doesn't surprise me. But yes, I will definitely keep you up to date. And the only way I found out about Helen Dalton coming out with her press statement today was because, hope you don't get pages of black ink. Yeah, they generally do. It depends on what the defense will have in it. They're focused on something. Oh, look, I am sure, let's face it, I'm sure Barilaro has been called worse under parliamentary privilege. Let's be honest. Correct? They call each other some names. I mean, how would he have gone against the great man, Paul Keating, who had the greatest name-calling gift ever? The media is calling the who, what, when, and where. They aren't reporting on the why because he accused them of corruption. And that is the point. He's accusing them of corruption. I must say I've gone into a lot more of the oh yeah, that's right. Bjork Peterson, yes. Yeah, I think he would have been called worse. Yeah, too much alike. Oh, thank you, Don. Bruz couldn't have stayed in the same room as Keating. His head would explode. Paul Keating was he was the Treasurer of Australia, then became the Prime Minister of Australia, and he is known for some of the best one-liners in Parliament. And he had the quickest, he had a really quick wit as well. Somebody would say something and he would have the retaliation. So this is some of his quotes and sayings. This is why I'm saying Bruz would not cope. He's used the C word. I can't even say that. If there was a university degree for greed, you would get all get first-class honours. Politicians come in three varieties: straight men, fixers, and maddies. In the end, it's the big picture which changes nations, and whatever our opponents may say, Australia's changed inexorably for good, for the better. Look, I liked Keating too. John Howard turned the Prime Ministership into something like a state police minister. He's at the scene of every crime twice a day on radio. The guy did no thinking. He's simply a shiver looking for a spine to run up. The Labor Party is a party of conviction. The Liberal Party is a party of convenience. The lesson of federation should be that the lesson is over. Australia must have a new idea of itself. We must strike out in a new direction, in a new way, armed with our own self-regard, our own confidence, fully appreciating our own uniqueness. All other roads will lead us into a shadow of great power. I haven't seen any Labor politicians coming out. I believe that I do believe I've heard Rudd come out. I also like Tony Burke. He has a few good. Tony Burke can have a really good have some good one-liners. We will not adopt the fantastic hypocrisy of modern conservatism, which preaches the values of families and communities while conducting a direct assault on them through the reduced wages and conditions and job security. So there's some of his. Oh, that's only page 1. He. This is a low-flying person. He said, the great changes, I moved in. Well, that's what they do all the time. In the end, the key ingredient is imagination. You imagine something better, you try to bring people with you. Look, it probably is bad optics for them to defend him, but it's good that the other people are speaking out for him. But I can speak out for him. But I mean, my channel is only tiny at this point in time. But yeah, so I'm gonna end shortly. End this, but yeah, good economics is good politics. I think Australia has to be the country which has the welcome sign out. You see, before I became Prime Minister, the Australian Prime Minister only ever attended 2 meetings in the world: the British Commonwealth Heads of Government and the South Pacific Forum. So yeah, he had some really good. Oh look, you call politicians grubs and muppets. I mean, look at what they call Morris scum. You know, isn't that offensive? That's offensive. That's offensive to grime. So anyway, as I said, I'm going to do it. So thank you. So tonight was something different because I knew I had a lot of new people in. So welcome to the new people. I have a feeling your channel would change soon, I predict. What do you mean? For the better or for the worse? Or I'm going to get more people or get less people? So I'm just going to keep the very content. I will keep up to date. I'm going to try, as I said, I'm going to try my best to get the documentation. We still do things the old-fashioned way. I have to fill in a form and email it, pay for it, and all that sort of stuff. But we don't have anything like Pacer. Oh, okay. Hello, silly crow. Good night for me. Have a great day. Well, Gail, that's right. Nightbot can take over now. The other so we have a variety of different topics, so we don't always spend the same topic on everything else. A lot of people follow a YouTuber called Katie Joy, which I would not recommend watching. However, you can find that out for yourself. Yes, it was really good. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it would be good to have something different. So, I mean, tomorrow I can say hello to Harrison for you. Tomorrow night I can look at the Christian Porter stuff and the Ben Robert Smith stuff, because that's also very interesting because that's a federal politician who's we can do our summary about that, because I did do a video on that, but we can go into in depth on that. Oh, thank you, Raza. Yeah, look, I have to say I don't generally write out scripts. Thank you, Silly Crow. I don't generally write out scripts. I generally just talk, because that's what I do. And I live stream every night, so I'm here, and we can talk about anything. So we don't have to talk about Friendlyjordies. We don't have to talk about Katie Joy. We can talk about anything. Ben Robert Smith, yeah, I've done a video on him, although it got really heavy and really complicated, because it involves war crimes, because he's got a Victoria Cross. He's the highest decorated soldier. He works in the media as well, which is really interesting. That's a kind of scary. That haven't heard from. Well, I know that his lawyer was concerned that it was Xenophon Davis reported that they believed that there was a warrant out for his arrest as well. So yeah, so I've got videos. I'm trying to put them in playlists. So there's a Ben Robert Smith playlist. There's a Friendlyjordies playlist now. There's a Melissa Caddick playlist. So everything's getting put into playlists so you can find them. All my music stuff's in another playlist. But thank you all for joining me. I know I do like to talk, but I'm gonna probably, I might reach out to both law firms to see if I can get the documentations, because I'd really like to go through what the charges. Well, I think so. I'm pretty sure we'd all be frothing at the mouth by now. I'm sure that if it was done, we would know about it. Yes, so I've got to have a blood test tomorrow too. So hopefully it won't take 4 attempts tomorrow. Misorganised. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm trying to be organised, Wind Whispers, because my channel's growing. I've got to make it look like it's professional. And can I say, I did my own editing today. Woohoo! But my Harold Holt one, I'm going to still film. So I've still got Harold Holt to do. I've got all the stuff that you've requested. I'm going to work my way through. So, you want some stuff on all the stuff that you've asked me for. I've got to look at the Divine Truth and the other Australian cults, and yeah, all of that sort of stuff. So we're going to look at some interesting stuff. And the other one that I want to look at is the Claremont serial killer stuff. And as you said, you wanted Martin Bryant and all the good stuff I hope to bring you. So thank you very much for joining me. What's the difference between Holt and Morrison? People wanted Holt to return. Well, he did actually bring endowment. He was the one that was responsible for child endowment. And he did a couple of other good things too. He also removed the White Australia policy too. He was the one that wanted, it was under him. You know Bryant's mother? Oh, look, when I had my iron infusion, John, it took him 3 attempts. My last blood test took over 2 days and 8 attempts. So, yeah, I'm drinking lots of water. And Harold Holt also was responsible for the Indigenous people being able to vote. So he was very good. So that's been edited at the moment. That's taken a while because it's a long video. And I've got the other half to do because I've got the parliamentary file. I've been able to get under when they released the Prime Minister's photo. So I've got the file that was in the Prime Minister's office about the disappearance from the National Archives. So one of the things we're doing is we're going through everything that was presented in the Prime Minister brief. It's really interesting to see what's in there. All right, so I'm going to love you all and leave you all. Please make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Same time, same place.